Our time is limited. We don't have time to waste on people, places, or things that have not proven themselves to be good for us, that have not met our needs. Ladies and gentlemen, guys, gals, gents, everybody in the audience, welcome on in to the Blue Collar Psychiatrist. Today, I ask you a question. How many of you have heard of the saying, life can only be understood looking backward, but it must be lived going forward? How many of you have heard that before? I'm sure many of you have. And it's true. We learn from the lessons that life has taught us. However, that assumes that we have a life, that we had a life. If we're too introverted and too shy, we don't associate with many people. If we stay home all the time, we're not out in the world. We don't learn the lessons. But if you have had a relatively normal life, you've gone to school, you've had some friends, you do activities, then you get to understand that people are different and that there are lessons to be learned. Lessons that you must learn in order to be successful later on in life. For example, suppose you have worked at large corporations in whatever capacity, but you have come to the conclusion that this is not for you. You think it's too impersonal, nobody seems to know what they're doing, you have bosses that come and go, nobody's sure who the boss is, you have a lot of gossip going on. There's a lot of issues that you have seen, but you have seen it not once or twice, but repeatedly. Finally, you realize the lesson. And the lesson is, at least for you, that's not the best place to work. Maybe it would be better for you if you worked in a smaller company. That is one example of what I'm talking about. Learning the lessons of the past. Now, there are also other lessons to be learned. And the lessons to be learned could have something to do with looking for certain friends. Let's say you're interested in meeting someone. Fine. And you go out with an individual. It could be man, woman, woman, man, whatever, or the same sex, doesn't matter at all. But you have seen a trend, and that's the key word behind a lot of what I'm talking about today, is you got to be able to pick up on trends. Now, trends don't give 100% accuracy in predicting, but they give you an idea as to what red flags to look for so that you can avoid problems. Let's say you've gone out with a number of women, and they immediately are asking you about your financial status. I've heard of situations where they come right out and ask a man, what is their income? What kind of car do you drive? Do you go on a lot of vacations? And then you find out that after dating these women, that they may not be the kind of woman that you're looking for. Let's just put it that way. They might be after money, they might be after who knows what, but there's something in their character, a character trait that you don't like, and it seems to always end in a problem, and the relationship goes kaplooey. Let's say you're looking for a mechanic, and you've taken your mechanic, you've taken your car to a mechanic on a number of occasions, the same mechanic. But the problem is, you always, when you take it there, they always promise that they'll get the car back to you by a certain time, and they never seem able to do it. We don't care why they don't honor their word. It's just that they don't observe and honor what they've told you. What is the lesson? The lesson is, now, after having looked back, my lesson is, as I live in the future, I'm not going to take my car to that particular mechanic. So these are some basic situations and scenarios which you might find yourself in, which many of us have found ourselves in, that you must learn what is the bottom line of this. And when you have a trend that's negative, then it's best to learn your lesson from the past and move on to the future. And the future could mean another type of woman, another type of man, another type of mechanic, whatever it might be. That's what I'm saying. Life can only be understood looking backward, but it must be lived going forward. You can't go and redo what has already been done, but you can learn from the past and then move on to better things. Things that you have learned that will help you, here it is, save time. Why beat your head against the wall in a situation that is no good for you? Why? Why would you do that? You wouldn't do it. And so this is what I want you to learn. This is a very well-known statement, a saying about one of the conundrums of life, frankly. You have to go through a lot to be able to understand what life is all about. You have to understand life's lessons, at least as you have learned them. And then make the corrections and then move on, because our time is limited. We don't have time to waste on people, places, or things that have not proven themselves to be good for us, that have not met our needs. Use your time wisely, once again. That's why I love this topic of time. It comes into play so many times in life. Don't waste it. Please do not waste your time. You know better. Go forward with what you've learned to the future, and hopefully you will have a better outcome. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I remind you, drink! And drink abundantly from the fountain of life. See you next time! Wait! I recommend a video that I've already done some time ago. And the video is called Bottom Line Thinking. I recommend it in helping you to understand this video today better. See you next time!